GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. The latest state report shows winners and losers in our city's economy, while traffic will see minor delays from scheduled street closures. In lighter news, the ASPCA rescued over 100 cats from 3 New York homes. Over to you, Andre.
The Queens Community Garden Association announces a free Saturday morning seed swap this weekend at the Flushing Meadow Park, featuring heirloom tomatoes, herbs, and gardening workshops.
The seed swap runs from 9 to 12 a.m., and volunteers will provide compost tips, while local vendors offer organic soil and plant markers.
Children's Corner includes a hands-on planting station where kids can pot seedlings, and a storytelling circle featuring garden-themed tales throughout the morning.
Lots to get to, let's begin, and thank you for joining us as we celebrate this weekend's garden gathering in Queens. Here are our top stories. A new state report charts which New York City neighborhoods and industries are gaining momentum and which are falling behind, fueling fresh debate over the city's economic future. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
The newly released state report breaks down which sectors and communities are gaining traction and which are slipping back in the city's economy. It shows that finance, technology, and hospitality are posting modest gains, while manufacturing and certain retail corridors are seeing declines. The analysis also points to rising incomes in higher-earning zip codes contrasted with stagnant wages in several low-income neighborhoods. Policymakers are using the data as a backdrop for a heated debate over the city's economic direction, weighing incentives for growth against support for struggling areas. The report underscores a patchwork picture. Pockets of expansion sit alongside zones of contraction across the 5 boroughs. Released on Sunday, the document provides quarterly snapshots of employment trends, business openings, and closures. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Midtown Manhattan.
Police confirmed a fatal shooting on Brooklyn's Canarsie Pier early today, leaving a 30-year-old man dead. The incident occurred at the waterfront location on August 9, and investigators have opened a homicide case. New York Police Department officers arrived on scene shortly after reports of gunfire and secured the area. The victim, identified as a 30-year-old Brooklyn resident, was pronounced dead at the pier. As of now, no arrests have been made and the investigation remains ongoing. Detectives are reviewing surveillance footage and canvassing the surrounding neighborhood for witnesses. The department has not released further details about a possible motive or suspect. The case is classified as homicide, and officers will continue to interview potential witnesses throughout the day. Authorities urge anyone with information to contact the precinct.
On Monday, tenants in East Harlem gathered outside 1569 Lexington Avenue to demand that a new owner take over the foreclosed building and fund needed repairs. The protest followed a 16-month rent strike that now spans 5 properties owned by Emerald Equity Group, part of a 38-building portfolio the firm recently lost. Demonstrators, joined by neighbors and housing activists, accused the former landlord of prioritizing profit over habitability and called for fresh investment to address long-standing maintenance issues. Police reported a peaceful rally with no arrests. The strike, which began in early 2025, has pressured Emerald to reconsider its management approach across the remaining holdings. Organizers said the East Harlem demonstration aims to pressure any prospective buyer to commit to upgrades rather than simply extracting rent. They also urged the buyer to improve living conditions for residents.
Congressman Rob Menendez will discuss conditions at Newark's Delaney Hall following multiple recent detainee deaths, addressing safety concerns at the facility on August 9, 2026. Liz Cho has the full story.
In an interview with Liz Cho, Congressman Rob Menendez stood outside Delaney Hall on August 9th, pointing to the aging brick structure that houses dozens of detainees. He said the recent string of deaths inside the facility demands an immediate review of safety protocols and medical oversight. Menendez noted families have been left without answers and urged state officials to conduct a transparent investigation and consider staffing upgrades. He added that the deaths, which occurred over the past several weeks, raise questions about ventilation, heat control, and access to emergency care. The congressman promised to bring the issue to the Federal Oversight Committee and keep the community informed. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Newark.
Authorities have charged a man with fraud after he collected security deposits from 3 prospective renters for an apartment on Marion Avenue, just steps from the Bronx Botanical Garden. According to the Bronx District Attorney's Office, the scheme unfolded in May when the suspect promised the 3 individuals a lease, took their deposits, and then failed to deliver a tenancy. Police say the victims each handed over cash in the range of several $100s, believing the unit was available. The investigation uncovered that the apartment was either already occupied or not listed for rent, leading officials to allege intentional deception. The accused faces charges of grand larceny and false pretenses, and a court appearance is scheduled for later this month. The district attorney's office urged anyone who paid deposits for rentals in the borough to verify the legitimacy of landlords before transferring money. Up next, the ASPCA rescued over 100 cats from 3 city homes. A heartwarming story you won't want to miss. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Yesterday, the ASPCA conducted a large-scale rescue, removing more than 100 felines from 3 New York City homes identified as suspected animal hoarding sites. Officials said the operation unfolded over a single day, with teams entering each residence, securing the cats and providing emergency veterinary care before relocating the animals to temporary shelters. Investigators noted that the homes displayed severe neglect, with cramped, unsanitary conditions that put the animals at risk of disease and injury. This rescue adds to a pattern of ASPCA interventions in hoarding cases, where animals are often found dead or living in deplorable environments. City animal welfare officials praised the swift coordination among law enforcement, health inspectors, and the nonprofit, emphasizing that the rescued cats will receive ongoing medical assessment and adoption services. The operation was funded by city animal control grants and private donations, underscoring the community's commitment to humane treatment.
A Brooklyn resident recovered her late grandmother's diamond and platinum wedding rings after they were mistakenly discarded, thanks to assistance from the New York City Department of Sanitation on August 8. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
On August 8th, a Brooklyn resident stood in front of a sanitation facility after discovering her grandmother's diamond and platinum wedding rings had been mistakenly tossed. She realized the heirloom was missing, traced it to a residential trash bin, and called the Department of Sanitation. Sanitation workers retrieved the sealed bag from their processing line, confirming the rings were intact. The resident expressed relief, noting the department's policy allows retrieval of items accidentally discarded. Officials said the procedure is standard and the rings will be returned to the owner after verification. Neighbors gathered nearby, curious about the process, while the sanitation crew demonstrated how they separate recyclables from waste. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, Brooklyn.
Reading proficiency in the city's public schools slipped dramatically, with only 50% of students meeting the proficient standard on the latest state assessment released Friday. The dip emerged as officials continue to roll out a comprehensive overhaul of literacy instruction across district classrooms. Data from the New York State Education Department show the decline follows the adoption of new reading curricula and teacher training models introduced earlier this year. District leaders said the results will inform ongoing adjustments to the reform, which aims to boost comprehension and critical thinking skills. Parents and educators expressed concern over the sudden drop, noting that the previous year's scores hovered near the 75% mark. The Department of Education plans to release a detailed analysis of the findings next month. City officials and the mayor's office said they will monitor the data closely and consider additional support for schools showing the greatest need.
On August 7, the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct ordered the removal of a Queens civil court judge after concluding the judge continued to practice law while on the bench. The commission's investigation also found the judge allowed a paralegal with a felony record to manage his office, mishandled client funds, and failed to file required financial disclosures. The findings constitute violations of the state's judicial conduct rules, which prohibit unauthorized legal practice, employment of ineligible staff, and mismanagement of court-related finances. Under New York law, the Commission has the authority to remove judges who breach ethical and legal standards governing the judiciary. The removal marks a rare action by the oversight body, underscoring the importance of adherence to judicial ethics and public confidence in the state's courts.
The City Council will hold an oversight hearing this Friday on the administration's new luxury second home tax, as thousands of owners have filed exemption requests. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
Council members will convene Thursday afternoon for an oversight hearing on the city's new luxury second home tax, a measure the mayor's office rolled out to boost coffers. Officials say the pied-à-terre levy applies to secondary residences, but thousands of owners have already filed exemption requests, sparking criticism over the rollout. Critics argue the process is opaque, while supporters point to the need for extra revenue in the budget. The hearing will examine how the tax is being administered and whether the exemption system is working as intended. City leaders expect the discussion to shape future adjustments to the policy. Council Speaker Adrian Adams set the session after community groups pressed for transparency. The mayor's office says the levy could bring in several $100 million annually, bolstering the city's budget. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, New York City.
Now let's check in with our meteorologist for tonight's forecast across the boroughs.
A westward jet stream and rising pressure are locking in heat while keeping the skies stubbornly clear. On this date, the city's all-time heat record sits at 90 degrees, set in 2025 during an early August heat wave that pushed daily maxima into the mid-90 range. The cold side record is 55 degrees, logged in 2016 when a polar vortex dip brought an unseasonal freeze to the northeast. By contrast, the climatological normals for early August hover around 85 degrees for the high and 70 degrees for the low, leaving today's 90-degree reading well above average, but not unprecedented. Turning to the live radar, the screen is almost blank across the metropolitan area. No echoes of rain or snow are visible, confirming the dry air mass that the rising pressure and the steady westward jet have entrenched. With the jet stream steering any disturbance well north of the city, no precipitation is expected to arrive before midnight, and the clear pattern will persist through the evening. At 6 p.m., the thermometer reads 90 degrees, feeling 93, with humidity near 46% and a light westerly breeze gusting to 19 miles per hour. Pressure is rising, indicating a building ridge that will keep the air stable through the night. The westward jet at roughly 47 miles per hour reinforces the ridge, suppressing any lift that could generate clouds. With the ridge in place, temperatures will dip only to 70 degrees by sunrise, and the sky will remain clear. UV index holds at 7 for the remaining daylight, and the maximum wind will stay around 11 miles per hour from the southwest, well below gusting thresholds. No weather alerts are in effect. Looking ahead, Monday mirrors today with a high of 91 degrees and a low of 70 degrees, but the forecast shows a 45% chance of rain despite the prevailing ridge, a reminder that shortwave disturbances can slip in from the Atlantic. Tuesday holds the same temperature range under an overcast deck, suggesting lingering moisture aloft. Wednesday clears again, delivering 90-degree highs and a low of 72 degrees, a classic late summer pattern. Thursday brings a slight warming to 90 degrees, overcast skies, and a 20% rain chance as a cold front begins nudging the ridge northward. Friday rounds out the workweek with a cooler high of 88 degrees, low of 66, and clear skies as high pressure reasserts itself. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's easing after street closures, the Chamber's spotlight on an AI startup, and OG Anunoby's iconic Knicks moment, all coming up. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
The biggest hit to commuters today is the Broadway Bridge. The Bronx-bound right lane remains closed, and the center lane is alternating traffic. Those lane reductions run until 3 p.m., with the alternating pattern ending at 2 p.m., so expect slow-moving traffic heading downtown and into the Bronx. East Harlem drivers should also plan around the Great Day in Harlem Festival, which has closed several streets through the neighborhood until this evening. Further downtown, the Dominican Day Parade has shut down parts of Fifth Avenue and surrounding side streets, adding a few minutes to any southbound route. Over on Staten Island, the Rocco Laurie Memorial Triduathlon is occupying the West Shore Expressway near the Richmond Avenue exit, so that stretch will be backed up until the race wraps up. Aside from those closures, city's road network is moving smoothly. Expect normal flow on the FDR Drive, West Side Highway in Queens, major arterials this afternoon.
Lincoln Center kicks off its 2026-27 season with a star-studded concert by Audra McDonald and Billy Porter, a special version of Shuffle Along that promises Broadway brilliance. If you're craving food and music, the Blues Barbecue Festival rolls into Hudson River Park this week, serving award-winning barbecue, live blues bands, and cold beers, perfect for a sunny riverside afternoon. On stage at New York City Center, Io Edebiri steps into the world of Snoopy in the revival of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, sharing the board with David Hyde Pierce and Danielle Brooks. It's a fresh take on a classic that will make you laugh and feel nostalgic. And for a low-key night, Gramercy Tavern launches its Behind the Bar series, starting with Miami's Café La Trova, where you can sip expertly crafted cocktails while the kitchen serves up inventive small plates. 3 very different ways to spend your Sunday, all right here in the city. And now here's Desmond with sports.
New York sports scene sizzles as championships linger and fresh battles emerge. Veteran forward OG Anunoby says he's done dwelling on the championship flash that defined his legacy, turning his focus to the Knicks' 2026-27 campaign, his 10th year in the league. Expect him to anchor the wing rotation and mentor the emerging core as New York eyes another deep run. The Yankees opened their Atlanta series with 2 solid outings, limiting damage despite glaring holes in the lineup. Reliever Cam Schlittler showcased poise in the bullpen, while the club's offense struggled to find rhythm. The games serve as a litmus test for depth ahead of a possible October showdown. Giants fans brace for a strategic shift as John Harbaugh takes the helm, sparking debate over whether the offense will lean toward the ground game or stay pass-heavy. Harbaugh's NFL pedigree suggests a balanced attack, but the roster's talent pool will ultimately dictate the play-calling direction. The Mets roll out a stacked lineup in Pittsburgh, featuring A.J. Ewing in left, Francisco Lindor at short, Bo Bichette anchoring third, and Louis Robert patrolling right. Sean Mania receives the ball as starting pitcher, while the Pirates counter with Jake Mangum in center. Pinstripe Alley launches its birthday series, spotlighting Yankees legends born on this date. Each installment dives into career highlights, from championship heroes to controversial figures, giving fans a nostalgic glimpse while the current squad battles for postseason positioning. The Yankees' weekly social media roundup recaps a post-deadline landscape, a top prospect's MLB debut, and a sudden rain delay that drenched the Bronx. Players, coaches, and broadcasters stayed active online, fueling fan conversation as the club eyes the stretch run.
An emerging AI startup has just set up shop in Manhattan's Flatiron District, bringing a fresh wave of innovation to the island. The company builds intelligent agents that mimic the decision-making of top-performing employees in heavily regulated fields, and this week announced a $30 million funding round. With that capital, they plan to hire roughly 40 new staff and expand their research lab right here in the city. The move underscores Manhattan's growing pull as a hub for artificial intelligence talent, and it adds high-tech jobs to a neighborhood already buzzing with creativity. It's a reminder that New York's economy thrives when bold ideas find a home on our streets. Local universities are already reaching out, eager to collaborate on real-world projects. Stay tuned as Bronx public defenders return to court after the strike ends. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Bronx public defenders return to the courtroom after a strike ends with a new contract that boosts pay and benefits for attorneys and support staff. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
Defenders filed into the Bronx County Courthouse this morning, their briefcases in hand after a week-long work stoppage was lifted. The new contract, approved late Tuesday, adds a modest salary bump for attorneys and expands health coverage for support staff. Court clerks opened the docket, and the first criminal hearings of the season began within an hour of the doors opening. Lawyers said the agreement addresses the long-standing gaps that prompted the strike, while judges noted the need to clear the backlog that built up while the offices were empty. Staff members exchanged nods as they settled back into their cubicles, ready to resume casework. The courtroom atmosphere felt tense but hopeful as the public defender team prepared to represent clients who had waited days for representation. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Bronx.
New York's MTA is boosting its budget by expanding subway ads on station walls and turnstiles, a move welcomed by officials but sparking criticism from riders who say the ads crowd the commute. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
In 2026, ads now line the walls of stations and flash across turnstiles, a push that's padding the MTA's books as it chases extra cash. In the rush hour crowd at a downtown platform, commuters mutter about the clutter, saying the new billboards crowd out the space they use to read maps or wait for trains. Officials say the influx of commercial spots is a direct response to budget shortfalls, turning every glass pane and metal gate into a revenue stream. While the money helps keep service running, riders argue the visual overload distracts and erodes the subway's historic look. The debate rolls on as more panels go up across the network. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, New York City.
Thank you, New York City, for joining us tonight. From the ASPCA's heroic rescue of more than 100 cats in 3 homes to the stories that shape our neighborhoods, we appreciate your trust. I'm Vivian Castellanos. Tune in tomorrow for more of the news that matters to you.